Hi, I'm Steve Good. Welcome back to my scroll saw workshop. Haven't been in the shop to do a video for a while, and I thought I'd put one together tonight, and had a couple subjects I wanted to talk about real quick tonight. The first one is you've probably seen the advertisement that I put on my blog lately by Mystic Hardwoods, and I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about why I have that ad up and what I hope to get from it. And then also I want to go back to doing a project tonight that's a very basic project. I've had a lot of questions, emails lately about very basic type subjects from people that are just getting started with the scroll saw. So we're going to do a real easy pattern tonight that I posted the other night and put it together and just show you some little tips and tricks. Okay, first thing I want to do is talk about Mystic Hardwoods. Billy and Disa are the owners of Mystic Hardwoods, and they wrote me an email, it's been a few weeks back now, letting me know that they had a new site up and they were selling lumber to craftspeople, and specifically they're selling pre-dimensioned lumber from 1/8 inch up to 3/4 inch thicknesses. And I've gotten a lot of emails over the year that I've had my website up about where do you get your lumber in 1/4 inch thicknesses and 1/2 inch thicknesses. And the way I've always done it is I've always bought rough lumber and just planed it down or resawed it at my bandsaw and then planed it down. And I know a lot of you don't have the tools to do that, so I went out and had been looking myself for a site that I felt comfortable with that sold this pre-dimensioned lumber that a lot of you would be able to purchase and do your scroll saw projects with. So when Disa wrote me the email and I went to their site and looked around and I saw the care and the time that they'd obviously put into their site, I was pretty impressed. I knew it was a new site and I didn't know exactly what to expect, but I knew this would be helpful to a lot of people, so I wanted to go ahead and go along with the advertisement. Now, I'm not taking money for the advertisement. First of all, I'm not sure there's enough value there to take money for it. And second of all, it's just not something that I'm interested in right now. But Billy and Disa have been kind enough to send me some samples of the material that they're cutting, and I just wanted to show you tonight what I got. And this is a kind of a small sample, but I was really pleased to get it. And what I asked them for in the sample, I told them that I generally used 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch material in a lot of the designs that I make, so that they sent me some 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch material in a few different domestic species. And I'm really pleased with what I got. The quality of the material is real nice, the packaging was good, and I got a couple things here. I got some sassafras, which is a material I've never worked with before, so I'm kind of anxious to give that a try. I've got some maple and a little bit of oak and a couple of 1/4 inch cherry boards here. And the nice thing about this material is you can get these wide thicknesses, so a lot of times when you're doing portrait patterns and you don't want to use plywood, being able to get a hold of these wide thickness or these wide boards is really nice. So if you're looking for some material like this, give Mystic Hardwoods a try. You can see the link to their site on my website, and I think you'll be happy. So far, I'm definitely happy with what I've seen, and in talking to them, I know for a fact that they're trying really hard to treat their customers right, which is really important. So with that, I'm going to put this away. We will design a project around this material. Hopefully this weekend we can put something together and use some of this material to design and build a project. Okay, now what I want to do is get on with the project we're going to do tonight. Okay, here are the materials that we're going to use in this project tonight. And again, this is going to be a very basic project, and a lot of you that have been scrolling for a long time, might want to just skip over this. But if you're fairly new to the scroll saw, there's a few tips and tricks I want to show you here on how to get started. Had an email just this morning about a pattern that I put up the other day, and it's a couple of word art patterns. One of them says world's best dad and one says world's best mom. And so I'm going to cut one of these patterns out tonight and just show you as I go how I do it. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the materials that I've got. First of all, the patterns that you can download off my website at www.scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com are in PDF format, so you can take and print these patterns out. And once you get them printed out, the next thing you're going to want to do is cut them down. And when you're cutting these patterns down, leave a little bit of a border around them, so when you glue these down to the board, they stick a little better. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting this one out here. I'm just going to leave a 1/4 inch or so of white paper around the pattern to just give ourselves plenty of room to adhere this to the wood. We can go ahead and set the rest of this aside. The other things you're going to need, and for these word art patterns, I usually use a fairly inexpensive wood. You can use some exotics or some domestic hardwoods if you like, but I find that it's not really necessary for these kind of patterns. So I've got a piece of poplar here that I've cut down to approximately the size that I need for the pattern. Also have some multi-purpose spray adhesive, and I use this spray adhesive to affix the paper to the wood. And this particular one is a Duro brand, and it's an all-purpose spray adhesive, and it allows you to do a permanent bond or a temporary repositional bond. So I use this, and I've had pretty good luck with it. The last thing you're going to need is some clear box tape, and I'll show you how we use that once we move along here a little bit. So these are what you're going to need to do this simple project tonight, and we'll set up and do the rest of it. On the end of my workbench here, I have a little auxiliary table that I can lift up, and I use this to put the glue on all my patterns with. It tends to get really dirty, and I can just take the cleaner off whenever it gets too dirty. But this is what I use. And I'll put the pattern down, face down, shake up the temporary spray adhesive, and go ahead and just give it a pretty good coat. Then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and affix it to the wood. And a lot of times I'll look for a particular grain pattern on a lot of patterns. You know, if I want it to look a specific way, or if I want to avoid a knot or something like that, I'll put it down. But in this case, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So I've gone ahead and affixed it to the wood. And in this case, I want it to be a temporary bond. So I only applied the glue to the paper. Now, if we wanted to do a permanent bond, we'd apply the glue to both sides. But go ahead and do that, and then you're ready to go ahead and cover it with your box tape. Now, the purpose of the box tape is really a couple of things. You know, one is it helps hold the pattern down a little better. The other is the glue on the tape actually lubricates the scroll saw blade as you're cutting, and you'll find that on a lot of woods like cherry that have a tendency to burn real bad, the box tape will eliminate the burning. It also allows the blades to last longer, and you'll get a much smoother cut. So I very seldom ever cut any patterns without this box tape. Even down woods as thick as 1/4 inch, I'll go ahead and use the tape. So what I do, take the tape and cover the pattern. And you want to try to keep as few bubbles in the tape as you possibly can. If you get a lot of wrinkles in here like this right here, you'll end up getting sawdust collecting in those wrinkles while you're cutting, kind of obscure your work a little bit. So in this case, it's only going to take a couple pieces of tape, and we've got the pattern now ready to cut, or ready to take to the drill press and drill our entry holes. And you can see I've got the pattern on the wood, and I've got it completely covered in the box tape. So the next step is we'll take it over to the drill press, and I'll talk to you a little bit about drilling the entry holes.